At 3:17 a.m., every phone in Bellwood Apartments rang at the exact same time. The caller ID showed only one word: home. Most tenants ignored it. 3 people answered, and each of them heard their own voice whisper the same sentence: "Don't open the door when the hallway goes quiet." Bellwood Apartments stood on a quiet street at the edge of the city. It was old, narrow, and forgettable. 13 floors, 46 apartments, one elevator that broke down almost every winter. Nothing about the building seemed unusual until the calls began. The first call came on a Tuesday night. At exactly 3:17 a.m., phones rang behind every door in the building. Landlines, cell phones, even the disconnected phone in the empty lobby. One tenant later said that when she picked up, she heard breathing. Then a voice, her own voice. It said, "Don't open the door when the hallway goes quiet." Then the line went dead. At first, nobody believed her. But within minutes, the same message appeared in the building's group chat. Different apartments, different phones, the same voice, the same warning. One resident, a man named Mark Ellison, stepped toward his front door. He said the hallway outside had been noisy all night. Pipes knocking, the elevator moving, someone walking upstairs. Then, without warning, every sound stopped. The light beneath his door began to fade. Mark did not open the door. Instead, he looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. But at the far end of the corridor, the elevator doors were open. The elevator should have been on the ground floor, and the building only had 13 floors. Still, the panel inside the elevator showed a faint light below the number 13. A button that should not have been there. Mark later described it as a 14. The security camera inside the elevator recorded nothing unusual. At least, not at first. The next morning, the building manager checked the maintenance records. There was no 14th floor. There had never been one. But an old copy of the building plan had changed. Between the 13th floor and the roof, someone had drawn a new level in pencil. 4 apartments: 14A, 14B, 14C, and 14D. No names were listed beside them, only 4 blank spaces. As if the building was waiting for someone to move in, the calls returned the following night, again at 3:17 a.m. This time, Mark answered. He placed his phone on the kitchen table and recorded the call with an old cassette recorder. For 11 seconds, there was only static. Then his own voice spoke from the phone. "You already opened the door." Mark had not opened it. He was standing across the room, watching it. Then the lights went out. When the emergency lights came on, Mark was gone. His apartment door was still locked from the inside. His phone was still on the table. The cassette recorder was still running. But the hallway camera showed him standing in front of the elevator, perfectly still, facing the closed doors, for almost 3 minutes. Then the doors opened. The camera lost its signal. When it returned, the elevator was empty, and the floor display showed a number that did not exist. Police searched the building before sunrise. They found no sign of Mark, no hidden floor, no extra hallway, no broken walls. But one officer noticed something strange near the elevator. A thin line of dust had been disturbed, as if someone had walked out of the elevator and into a hallway that was no longer there. At 3:17 a.m. the next night, the building received one final call. Every phone rang. This time, nobody answered. At 3:18 a.m., Mark's keycard registered an entry into his apartment. At 3:19 a.m., it registered an exit. But Mark was never seen again. The last security recording from Bellwood Apartments shows his front door opening by itself. The hallway is empty. A telephone can be heard ringing from inside the apartment. And just before the recording ends, a voice whispers, "Don't open the door," when the hallway goes quiet. Bellwood Apartments was demolished 6 months later. The official report listed structural damage as the reason, but workers claimed that on the final night, every phone in the building rang at 3:17 a.m., even the ones that had already been removed. Case status: unresolved.